Rendering means to create frames of a movie from your composition. When you render a frame, you combine all the layers, settings, and information from the composition into a two-dimensional image. Rendering your composition is the first step in taking it from just a composition in After Effects and turning it into a movie. In this lesson, we'll learn how to use the Render Queue panel to export a composition to movie format, create a template for the render queue, create a template for the output module, and export a composition using Adobe Media Encoder. When you're ready to render and export your movie from After Effects, first pre-compose your layers into a composition. Remember, to do this, Control or Command-click to select the layers in the composition, then go to Layer, Pre-compose. Then click on New Composition in the Project panel. To view the Render Queue panel, go to Composition, Add to Render Queue, or File, Export, Add to Render Queue. The Render Queue panel is grouped with the Timeline panel. Click the triangle that's next to Output To in order to choose a name for the outputted file. You can also choose a location where the file will be saved. Next, click the triangle by Render Settings. Here you can choose a Render Settings template or click the underlined text beside Render Settings. The Render Settings dialog box will appear. This will allow you to customize the settings for your composition. Now choose a log type from the Log menu. Then click the triangle beside Output Module. You can either choose an Output Module settings template or click the underlined text beside Output Module to customize the settings. When you're finished, click the Render button that's located in the upper right corner of the panel. A progress bar will appear at the top of the Render Queue panel. Instead of having to enter your render and output module settings for every composition that you output, you can create templates that already have those settings established for you. To create a template, go to Edit, Templates, Render Settings. You'll then see the Render Settings Templates dialog box. Go to the Settings area and click the New button to create a new template. You'll then see the Render Settings dialog. We're going to give you settings to help you create your first template. For the Quality drop-down, choose Best. Choose Third for resolution. This will reduce the linear dimension of the composition to a third. Now go to the Time Sampling area and choose Current Settings for Frame Blending, Current Settings for Motion Blur, and Length of Comp for Time Span. Choose Use this frame rate in the Frame Rate area and then enter 12 for the value. Click OK when you're finished. Enter a name for these settings in the Render Settings Templates dialog box and then click OK. Now let's create a template for the output module. We're going to create a template for a low-resolution movie. Go to Edit, Templates, Output Module. You'll then see the Output Module Templates dialog box. Click the New button to create a new template. For this template, we want the format to be QuickTime. We also want to use the following settings. Select Import for the post-render action. Click the Format Options button in the Video Output section, then select these options in the QuickTime Options dialog box. Select MPEG-4 video for the video codec. Select 80 on the quality slider. Choose Keyframe Every and type 30 in Advanced Settings. Choose Limit Data Rate to and enter 150 for bitrate settings. Now click on the Audio tab. In the Audio Codec menu, select IMA 4:1 and then click OK. This takes you back to the Output Module Settings dialog box. Go to the Audio Output Auto at the bottom of the dialog box and change the rate to 22.050 kHz and use to stereo. Now you'll see the Output Module Templates dialog box again. Enter a name for the settings and click OK. You can use the Render Queue panel to turn your composition into a movie. However, if you want to add a variety of presets and select from several high-quality formats, Adobe Media Encoder may be the choice you want to make when you're ready to export. Adobe Media Encoder allows you to create your video for whatever screen size and resolution you need. It also offers tools to allow you to publish your video across different browsers and devices. In addition, when you export a file from After Effects, Adobe Media Encoder can encode that single file to multiple outputs, all at the same time. It can also set up watch folders, which we'll learn about later in this lesson. To use Adobe Media Encoder, go to File, Export, Add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue. Adobe Media Encoder will open up. There are 4 windows. Q is in the upper left corner and it lists the files that are in Q for coding. The preset browser is in the upper right-hand corner. It contains the same presets as the export settings dialog box in After Effects. However, they're in different folders. The encoding window is on the bottom left. It'll tell you if there are problems with the encoding. Watch folders is located on the bottom right. This contains watch folders that you've created. To set preferences, go to Edit Preferences on a PC and Adobe Media Encoder Preferences on a Mac. Go to the General tab. If you don't want to have to manually start each queue, make sure Start Queue automatically when idle for is checked. You can also disable parallel encoding, which is encoding to multiple outputs. If you have a slower machine, you may want to disable this. In addition, you can select a file location for all encoded files. If you don't, they'll be stored with the source video clip. To start an encoded queue, click the Start Queue button in the queue window. Before you do so, however, you can select an output format and specify the output settings. To add a preset to a queued file, go to the preset browser. Find the preset that you want and then drag the preset onto the queued file. You can add as many as you want, and the queued files will be encoded to the selected outputs. After you do that, you can start encoding. Watch folders are folders on your hard disk that are tied to presets. You can encode a file to all the presets contained in the folder. To create a watch folder, go to the Watch Folders window, then click the Add Folder icon. You'll then see the Choose a Folder to Watch dialog box. Choose a folder and then press the Select Folder button. You can then see the folder in the Watch Folders window. Now you can drag presets from the preset browser and drop them onto the folder.